the Four Elements room. Today we have Minket Lepcha and a few friends with us from Sikkim, India, to talk to us and share with us about the special river there, River Teesta. And the question is, what river do you come from? So Minket Lepcha, I will turn it over to you, and I'm going to make sure I make you a co-host so you can show your video.
Very good morning and evening to all of you. My name is Minket Lepcha, and I come from another state, which is Darjeeling, very much a part of India. And I'm a storyteller as well as a filmmaker. I have been documenting oral stories and folklore from our communities and other ethnic communities from India. And as I begin a very short storytelling session, I just wanted to remember our ancestors and our elders who are there working hard for the river, and not just for the river, for the many, for our nature and our community and our mountains. And before I tell the story, I also want to kind of invite my fellows who are Furchiring, Rumit, and Mayalmit, who will join us shortly. They are the water warriors who've been fighting right there in the ground regarding the dams that's come up in Sikkim. And while I conduct this session, the reason why I wanted to tell the story is because this is one of the oldest folklore where our elders have sung songs and have danced in the songs about River Teesta. And as they have narrated the story, there is something which reminds us of our rivers, not just the river that I come from, the rivers that you come from. Because over a period of time, the context of river has often been much detached issue, and the interdependence of river and water has disappeared over a period of time. And this story is also to remind us that human is just a part of us, part of the whole ecosystem, and human is not the one who runs the ecosystem. And this story is also to remind our younger generation that no matter where we come from or which community we come from, it is very important that nature comes before anything. So without any further delay, I'm just going to just quickly share the screen, and also I hope I will just let me know if you can see the screen, please. Jim, can you see the screen? Okay, great.
Yes, it's fine.
Great. So this is Mount Kanchendzonga, the very mighty mountain, which is the third highest mountain in the world. People almost have this ethereal, poetic, phrases written for ages unknown about how beautiful this mountain has been. But for a Lepcha people, this is a guardian deity. This is where we come from. And the peaks that you see below are the peaks that we go to, because each clan has names and lakes and caves right in this mountain range. And I'm talking.
Minket,
Yes?
you can make it full screen if you go down to the right.
Oh, great. All right.
Make it full screen and everyone can see a little bigger.
I think this is a slideshow. Is that how I do it? I think so. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the time when Mount Kanchendzonga was as small as a musketeer's tooth. So I think Maya is trying to call. Just a second. Hello. Link is the same link. The link which you came for. It's the same link. Facebook, I had sent it on WhatsApp. Yeah. Yeah. So Rumit will give the link just in case. Rumit, if you could just send a link to Malmit, I would be really grateful. But yeah, it's the same. Yeah. Sorry about it.
You can make it full screen by that very little square down in the very right lower.
Is this the one? This one, right?
No, keep going to your right. Keep
going all the way to the right.
All the way in the corner.
Oh yeah. See, you're getting more savvy than me. Okay, so I think this is it. Okay. All right. So this is the mountain, and I'm talking about the times when this was as small as a musketeer's tooth, and this was a very important part of Eastern Himalaya. And just to wanted to just quickly show you, when we say Himalaya, it is right. This is the Indian, like you know, the this is the Indian continent, and this is very much a part of the Himalaya. So right from we have from Kazakhstan to right next to Arunachal Pradesh, this Nepal, Bhutan, all this comes, and we are somewhere here right in the middle. And Mount Everest and Kanchendzonga comes right in between here. So we are not just a part of, people talk about North Pole and South Pole, but this Eastern Himalaya is a very important part of, we call it the third pole, because of this range, the whole of India and the whole of the ocean gets water. And this is one of the water towers for us, where if this dries up, so does the humanity in this continent. So that's one of the reasons. There are many, many, many communities who praise to these pristine mountains, not just the Kanchendzonga for the Lepchas, but Mount Everest. So Mount Everest is known in different names in different communities. So Kazakhstan also has different, communities who praise to these mountains. So Himalayas, when we say, it's a part of India, Nepal, Bhutan, and so on and so forth. Pakistan for sure. So these mountains are one of the stories of Mountain Kanchendzonga, and like I said, it was as small as a musketeer's tooth. And this is the time when the rain used to fall. It used to play with the mist and used to come down to Mother Earth and used to fall on the trees to make sure that the right fruits are blossoming at the right time. And when the rain used to come, it was the forest, it was the tree who used to say, thank you, my dear rain, for bringing in water for us, where we can quench our thirst and also give birth to babies and impregnate our flowers. And that is the time when the flower used to fall down to Mother Earth. The earth would look up to the trees and the blue sky and say, thank you, my dear trees. It is because of you that we are being able to give birth to so many babies and seedlings. And the river used to be connected with the earth, because the river used to say, it is because of you that I have a shape. And the river used to also thank the skies and the rainbows. And these are mystical times, beautiful times, when everybody was a trickster, everybody was a magician. And because of that, Idbu Rum, which is our creator, was very happy, because he could. I would say Idbu Rum is not a gender specific, so we usually don't have a gender. So it's a creator. So the creator used to say, oh, it's such a beautiful place on Mother Earth, where everybody is interdependent and interconnected and grateful towards one another. Why don't I send two human beings, to Mother Earth? One is Rongnu and another one was Rangi, two small human beings, boy and girl, to let them know that there is a place on Mother Earth where everything has an interdependence and love. So they were sent to Mother Earth, and they were just beautiful medicinal plants that used to grow in these mountains. And some of them were this tree, and some of them were these flowers, like Nepalensis elnus and rhododendron. This rhododendron is a medicinal flower for us, and we make drinks. We make also, something that we eat. And sometimes when we have a cough, we take this flower, said, oh, so these are different beings of Mother Earth. So Rangit and Ragnu became friends with these plants and flowers and birds. And as they were growing up, these two human beings fell in love with our Mother Earth. But what also happened was, they started falling in love with one another. And when they started falling in love with one another, they forgot the laws of the jungle. They forgot that there used to be gratefulness, there used to be love, that everyone used to be interdependent one with one another. And these two, Rangit and Ragnu, started just falling in love with one another, that they just didn't see anything around us. And when that happened, the jungle did not like it and decided to separate them, and decided that the love between these two human beings are not good for the jungle, because it is this love which will kill the jungle one day. And when this happened, then every forest being started scheming against the separation of Rangit and Rangnu. And then when Rangit and Rangnu came to know about it, Rangit was the ferocious one and got really angry and said, "How can they do something like this? How can they, like really try to separate us?" And that is the time when Rangi said, I'm going to go and fight with them. And Rangnu, which is the female, was like very, very patient one and said, "Hey, listen, you can't fight the jungle. Look at your shape, look at your size. We have to do something about it." And that is the time Rangit the male ego kind of got in and said, "Oh, I am the man. I'm going to help. I'm going to take you away from this and I'm going to save you." And that is when Rangnu was crying. Rangit was like, "I am going to save you." And so he said, "We both are going to turn into these two rivers. One is Rangit and another one is Rangnu. And together we will meet in Pesok. But just don't be late and make sure that we all go together downstream." But then Romney was like, "How can it be possible? We are just human beings." And again, while she was crying, the man said, "Oh, don't worry, I am there. And we both will turn into these two rivers. And I will follow this bird, which is a Himalayan munal, one of the national bird of Nepal. And another one, you will follow the snake. And together we will flow." And as they just snapped their fingers and turned into these beautiful rivers, that is the time this Himalayan Munal, or in Nepali we call it Dafe, was the one who was leading this river Rangit. But this bird, you can see it's so beautiful, it was so attractive. And then started this bird started floating around the way and just looked around and started foraging sometime and looking at some beautiful other birds. And that is the time when Rangit was like, "Oh, aren't we getting late?" But then it was just he also got in, like, he got in the flow with this bird's way of behaving and like just passing the time around. And together, then what happened was, this together they actually tried to meet. And when the girl came in Pesok, the girl happened to reach earlier. And when the girl reached earlier, the guy, when he saw that the girl is come before him, was so angry and said, "Oh, Teesta tha," he shouted, and which means, "When did you arrive?" And when that boy saw that the girl, who was the weaker one, came before him, his ego was so hurt and said, "You are a cheater. I told you to come just on time, and how dare you come before me? I'm sure you wanted to show off something. I'm sure you wanted to tell that you are better than me." And the girl was shocked. The girl was like, just couldn't believe it. And when the girl said, "Please listen to me," that is the time the boy said, "Oh, I'm going to go away from you. I'm going to make sure that I don't need a person like you. And because of this, I am just going to go upstream and you just go downstream." And when that happened, this whole mountain, because West Bengal, Sikkim, Darjeeling, Kalimpong, and all are interrelated, we all see this white mount Kanchendzonga, and this is in West Sikkim, and this is Tendong. And this is the time when everyone started, like, they were submerged, all these mountains were submerged. I have clicked this from Darjeeling. And when these mountains were submerged, because the river Rangit was so angry, started pulling the boulders, the mud, everything, and submerged this whole place. And that is the time when all the beings, the sentient beings, and the magical people, magical animals like Yeti, went up in this mountaintop, Tendong or Tunrok, and then prayed to Idbudemiru to see how can they be saved, because Rangit was very angry. Rangit was not even listening to anybody. And that is the time when Idbudeburum came in the form of this bird. The name of this bird is called Helpatridge. And Idbudeburum said, "What is it that you want? What happened?" And all the sentient beings said, "Please help us from Rangit's anger, because Rangit is not listening to anyone and he has submerged everything." And that is the time when Hilpatris said, "Please offer millet." And that's why during this, on 8th of August, every year, we come to this mountain top, or at least remember this top, to believe that it is this mountain and the hill patridge which saved us, and we offer millet every year. And the hill patridge said, please go and offer the millet. And as soon as the millet was offered, Rangit was all of a sudden wide awake of the anger that he had created and the destruction that had happened. And during that time, Rangit said, I have to go back to River Rangnu and say sorry. And when River Rangnu was waiting for him, River Rangit said, I am sorry for whatever I have done. My anger was so blinded that I did not see that there was so much that I had lost and I had killed. And River Rangnu said, very much in this confluence that you see, this is the confluence of River Rangit and Rangnu, and said, I was not the one who was late, my dear. It was you. But you did not trust me. I was not late because I followed the snake, and just like the snake would not stop anywhere, even if there's a boulder it would slide through, I just kept right on time. But it was you who was late. Your bird was the one who distracted you. But you never really trusted me. You actually thought that it was me because I am a girl, that you thought that I am the one who's done, who has come to show off something to you. And because of that, but I cannot fight with you anymore. We both have become rivers. We cannot fight with our ego. Together we become River Teesta. Here, Rangit and Rangnu. And together we flow to provide water to so many other sentient beings, not just in the mountains, but in the plains too. But if I keep fighting with you, the battle is not between you and me, Rangit. The battle is now how to provide water to the downstream. So I will take one more round. Like you see in this particular picture, Rangnu is the one which takes one more round here. There's a small island, and said, I will take one more round just to pacify your male ego because I don't want to keep fighting. And together we will flow as Teesta. But remember, I will always show your anger. So that's why you will be the murky one and the dirty one. Because of your anger, you have always created destruction. And I, which is Rubber Rangnu, will be the blue and the green one. And till now, this side of the river, which is the Rangnu side, is blue and greenish in color, and Rangit is muddy in color. And if you see the shape of the shape of the river is very curvy for the Rangit because it followed the bird, and the shape of Rangnu is straight because it almost straight because it followed the snake. And till now, River Rongyong, which Furchiling and Rumit and Mayalmit comes from this tributary, Rongnu, which comes from North Sikkim. And this is how they said, together we will flow as River Teesta. And please remember, my dear Rangit, our anger is much less important than what we have become as rivers and what we need to provide to the humanity downstream. So with this, they actually go and sorry, the map is a little murky, but I just wanted to show you this is where the Sikkim, the birth of River Teesta happens, and it kind of crosses the whole of Sikkim and passes through West Bengal, and then it passes through Bangladesh, and then finally goes down to Bay of Bengal, and that's why river is a transboundary river. So yeah, this is how I wanted to end the story, and I hope you liked it. And this now we will kind of screen the film. I think Jim can help us with that.
Sure. Let's see. I love the story, and that the scenery there, the nature there is absolutely incredible.
Thank you. But
Wow.
a lot of dams being built up right now, so
Yeah.
I don't know if the river will have the same color or the same story anymore. So that's
There's the fight.
yeah.
Now let me see how I do share screen. Okay. Share. Whoops. Is that working?
Yeah, I think you have to open the link first.
Oh, first? Okay.
Yeah.
we see your whole.
Yeah, I can see the Peace Weekend conversions all over the desktop.
Oh my. Here it is.
Yeah, I think then we can do the full screen.
Yes.
Yeah. When you share, I think we have to share it with the audio, computer, enable computer audio, because sometimes we can't hear the sound. No, I think when you did the share screen, there was this option saying enable computer sound.
No, but let's try this.
Okay.
Is that it?
Just play. I think, yeah, I think we can hear it. The share screen is on the bottom right, Jim. It'll come up.
I'm trying to do first.
It'll come at the bottom right of the screen. Just hang on there with the mouse.
Oh.
Yeah, here. Or do the right click. Yeah, that one.
Got it.
What long you mato dunga pani related ho. जब नयाँ कपालसँग हामीले बिहादान गर्छ तब उनी दुईको संकट जस्तो सदा सर्वदा मिलेर अन्तसम्म पुग्छु पानी जस्तै चोक भएर बस्नु भनेर कसैको छ उम्योङले बुने रोङछकता मोर्न सुगमका उम्मनिन्छ सुगन्ध त्यसको माने पानी भन्ने कुरो चाहिँ लेप्चाको मात्र होइन तर पानी नै छैन भने संसारै छैन. Somebody may say it is religion. It is not religion. It is our forefather ले गर्दै आएको आमा बाउ छैन भने यो संसारै छैन नि. र यो टिस्टा र रङ्गी चाहिँ हामीको निम्ति चाहिँ लेप्चा खास निम्चाको निम्ति चाहिँ आमा सा आमा यो अब
हाम्रोमा यहाँ यस्तो पेच्या छ यो सिक्किमको बुद्धिज्महरूले मान्नुपर्ने तर यो पेच्यामा चाहिँ के लेखेको छ भने चाहिँ यो कञ्चनजङ्घा खोला नाला देवी देउराले मान्नुपर्ने चाहिँ डल्लै यो सिक्किम भरिमा लेक कतिवटा छ 109 वटा अन्त कञ्चनजङ्घा जस्तो सानो सानो कञ्चनजङ्घा टपमा भन्नु मुनिको सानो सानो पाहाडलाई 109 वटा भागमा पूजा गर्नु यो किताब छ म पढ्दै जान्दा त अब यसले चाहिँ हामीले नि अब समाजले राख्नुपर्ने रहेछ यो पूजा गर्दै बस्नुपर्ने
Yang re son non ban nang ka re son ban nang chu me kong chim bong nang ka plem bo ya ye chu sa ram yang sa ram yang ku yo chu le ku yo ma me Teesta एउटा चोखो सन्देश हुँदैन नि हामी टिस्टामा कहाँ ढोक्छौँ पैसाहरू पाउँछौँ है त्यसले माता टिस्टा भन्ने हामी लास्टमा
खोलाको त्यो बगाएर त्यसको साउन्डमा तपाईँ धेरै बेर उभिएर सुनिरह्यो भने कसैले गीत गाएको जस्तो लाग्छ त्यसको एउटा हार्मोनी छ त्यो कलरको चाहिँ एउटा ठुलो एट्र्याक्सन टिस्टा नदीको हेर्दाखेरि त्यो डिप एउटा के भन्नु एउटा आई क्यानट रियली आई डोन्ट ह्याभ वर्ड्स टु एक्सप्लेन त्यो एउटा गहिरो डिप एउटा ब्लू र ग्रिनको एउटा मिक्स एउटा कलर थियो त्यसलाई चाहिँ हेरिरहँदाखेरि चाहिँ एक प्रकारको डर लाग्थ्यो एउटा मिस्ट्री थियो त्यहाँनिर के छ होला भित्र त्यसले चाहिँ धेरै छुएको थियो मलाई त्यो कलर एउटा मिठो डर थियो बाँधले बाँध्यो निरन्तर टिस्टालाई हत्या गर्यो है बाँधले बाँध्यो त्यो निरन्तर टिस्टालाई हत्या गर्यो है त्यो ईश्वरको रचनालाई कस्तो खेल हो यो प्रकृतिसँग बुझ्नै नसक्ने झेलेकै हो प्रकृतिलाई पनि सम्झेर सम्झनै नसक्ने अब कति दिन झेल्ने हो केही थाहा नहोला किनारमा बस्ने कति ज्यान जाने हो बगिरहेको मानिरहेको प्राप्त बहुत राम्रो मान्छे पल्युसन पनि छैन किनभने तपाईँको हाइड्रोपावर पल्युसन हुँदैन कहिले कहिले देख्छु म नोक्सान चाहिँ छैन प्रोजेक्ट हाल्नु पोइन्ट क्रिएट गर्छ नि मान्छेले आफै बनाउँछ त्यस्तो उल्टा उल्टा गर्नु म भन्छु नगर्नु त्यस्तो यसले चाहिँ फाइदा गर्छ तिम्रो छोरा पनि त्यही कुनजना काम गर्छ पहिले त्यही सोच यसले बहुतै रेभेन्यू जेनरेट गरेको अब किनभने मान्छे बस्ने गर्छ तपाईँको कमसेकम 2 करोड 40 लाखको 24 घण्टामा रेभेन्यू कलेक्सन गर्छ
यो पनि पुरानो रेट हो भनेपछि अहिले अब रिभाइज भयो भने त्यो अलग कुरा हो
टिस्टा नदीमा डुब्दै निस्किने त्यो त्यसको पनि भयो अब सास टिस्टा नदीमा डुब्दै निस्किने त्यो त्यसको पनि भयो अब सास बगरलाई हेर्दा निराशै एउटा नेचुरल प्राकृतिक धन लोप भएर गयो जस्तै अब कतिवटा जडीबुटीहरू पनि अब त्यो नदीको किनारमा हुने सी लेभलमा हुने एउटा जडीबुटीहरू त्यो ड्याम भएर माथि आएपछि झन्डै झन्डै 25-30 मिटर माथि जमिन छोपेर आउँछ छोपेर आउँदाखेरि त्यो अब त्यो पानी मुनि त्यो उद्भिद बढ्नु सक्दैन योहरू हराएर जाने एउटा सम्भावना डिमेल्टमा यो पनि छ त्यो एउटा सलल्लो बगिरहने पानीलाई टेक्निकल्ली काबुमा ल्याएर करेन्ट निकाल्ने जस्तो भयङ्कर पैसा कमाइ हुँदैन इन्डियाको लागि त भयङ्कर ठुलो देन हो यो टिस्टा खोला त्यो कमाइले त हामीलाई पनि पुग्नु पर्ने हो सराउन्डिङ एरियालाई वेस्ट बेङ्गाललाई पुग्छ यो मेरो विचारमा यो प्रोजेक्ट गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ एउटा केन्द्र सरकारले गर्नु नसकेको काम स्टेट गभर्मेन्टले राज्य सरकारले गर्नु नसकेको काम चाहिँ यहाँ हाम्रो अलिकति डेभलपमेन्टमा चाहिँ एनएसपिसी आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ गरेको देख्नु पाएँ मैले हामी चाहिँ अब एनएसपिसीको डेभलपमेन्टको कारणले गर्दाखेरि बाटो भयो यिनीहरूको एउटा योजना पनि छ एसएसआर कुनै के भन्ने एउटा छ योजना त्यो अन्तर्गत उहाँहरूले के अरे डाइरेक्ट सेन्ट्रल गभर्मेन्टबाट फन्ड झिकेर एनएसपिसीले यहाँनिर डेभलपमेन्टको कामहरू गर्दैछ र यो एउटा मेरिट बेसिसमा आउँछ भन्छ संसार तातिँदैछ अरे तातिनुको साथसाथ बत्तिँदैछ पनि अरे भन्छ संसार तातिँदैछ अरे तातिनुको साथसाथ बत्तिँदैछ पनि अरे बताएर नै कतिलाई त बेपत्ता पार्दैछ हाम्रो पहाडमा भने चाहिँ पहिरोको प्रकोप बढ्दैछ पहिरोको प्रकोप बढ्दैछ पहिरोको
This is a cold area. Lachung, Lachungदेखि युमथाङ, सोलामु, युमिसामदोङ, this is a cold desert. अहिले अब जस्तो यो ग्लोबल वार्मिङ भयो, क्लाइमेट चेन्ज जुन चाहिँ कुरा हुँदैछ र मैले देख्दा पनि मलाई पनि यो एकदमै सिरियस इस्यु लाग्यो र यो लास्ट 10 इयर्स भित्र र मैले जो ग्लेसियर भित्र जुन चाहिँ चेन्जेस देखेँ मैले र यो चेन्जेसहरू हेर्दाखेरि एकदम थ्रेटनिङ रहेछ कति जग्गामा त 90% एकदम ग्लेसियर वाइट आउट भइसकेको छ हामीले अब ड्यामहरू त केही आउनु दिएको छैन हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्ट आउनु दिएको छैन लाचुङभन्दा अगाडि चुङथाङमा ड्याम स्टार्ट गर्यो चुङथाङको पब्लिकले हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्ट वेलकम गरिदियो र उनीहरूले कम्पेन्सेसन थाप्यो कतिजना थाप्यो कतिजनाले पाएन अनि कम्पेन्सेसन चुङथाङमा ड्याम बनाउँदाखेरि लकिली चुङथाङको लागि त इट्स अ भेरी स्याड स्टोरी हाम्रो लागि त मेरो लागि त राम्रै भयो किन हाम्रो मान्छे त गान्तोकतिर जाँदाखेरि चुङथाङबाटै बाहिर चुङथाङ जानु पर्यो उनीहरूले देख्नु पायो कि हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्ट चाहिँ को डिभास्टेसन चाहिँ कतिको हुँदो रहेछ कुनै पनि डेभलपमेन्ट म त वेलकम गर्छु तर डेभलपमेन्ट यस्तो नहोस् कि डेभलपमेन्ट विथ अ मास डिस्ट्रक्सन एन्ड नट इन्टु डिस्ट्रक्सन डेभलपमेन्ट गर्दा स्मल प्रोजेक्ट ल्याउनुहोस् मिनी हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्टहरू ल्याउनुहोस् माइक्रो पावर हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्टहरू हुन्छ सानो सानो गाउँमा नेपालतिर चलिरहेछ इन अदर स्टेट्स इन अदर कन्ट्रिज अल्सो सानो सानो माइक्रो पावर हाउसहरू हुन्छ जसले एउटा गाउँमा चाहिँ चल्छ सस्तो पनि हो इट्स सस्टेनेबल हुन्छ सस्तो त्यहाँदेखि त्यस्तो ठुलो टेक्निकल मान्छेहरू पनि चाहिँदैन गाउँको मान्छेले चलाउन सक्ने लो हाम्रो लाचुङमा त अहिले चाहिँ हाम्रो आफ्नो एउटा सानो पावर हाउस छ 3 मेगावाटको सो त्यो त हाम्रो लाचुङको लागि त सफिसियन्ट छ एन्ड आई वेलकम सच प्रोजेक्ट न्युज मात्रै पढेको कि लाचुङ हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्ट चाहिँ स्क्रैप गर्नु सो यदि इफ द्याट इज ट्रु अहिलेसम्म तर हामीले जुन चाहिँ एजुकेसन स्टार्ट गरेको थियो त्यो चाहिँ सक्सेसफुल भइरहेको छ र अहिलेसम्म यहाँ ड्याम लगाएको छैन कोही छैन अहिले 100% पब्लिकले ड्यामलाई एकदम नो भनिसकेको छ
किन जान्ला त्यो पनि हामी इलेक्ट्रिसिटीसँग कुरा गर्छौँ मलाई पुरा रिस उठेको छ छोरी पुरा रिस उठेको अस्ति बनाइदिएर थिएँ कि त्यहाँ नआएको छैन त्यहाँ यहाँ पैसा निकाल्नु इलेक्ट्रिसिटी यहाँ किन बन्द गर्छ यो खोला बढेर आउँछ यो खोला बढेर आउँछ भाग्नु कि सुत्नु पो हुन्छ हामी रात खुट्टाले भर हुँदैन आमा गोल्डम 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 गर्छ ढुङ्गा पर्छ
And the sound is not coming, Jim. Okay.
पानी पनि माया छ अब सानैदेखि खेलेको हुर्केको है एनएचपीसीले ड्याम बनाएर अहिले उनीहरूलाई मन चाहियो जति जरुरी छ चलायो जरुरी छैन छोडिदियो त्यस्तो हुँदाखेरि अब हामीलाई पनि असर पर्छ टुरिस्टहरूले पनि पुरै अब कम्प्लेनहरू गर्छ तिमीहरूको यस्तो यति ऱ्यापिड खोइ 4 ग्रेडको ऱ्यापिड खोइ 3+ को भनेर सोध्छ यो हाइवे डल्लैमा कोइरी र राफ्टिङ मात्रै हो त्यहाँदेखि बाइक अलिअलि अब ड्राइभिङहरू गर्छ होइन अब आउने बाटो नै खोलाबाटै हुन्छ यो खोलै छैन भने चाहिँ अब यो एउटा अंश नै हराएर जान्छ राफ्टिङको
असला बुदुना त अब देख्दै छोड्यो जालले छोपेको बाँधले छोप्यो असला बुदुना त अब देख्दै छोड्यो बाँधले छोडेको जालले छोप्यो
These 4 fishes are actually, they normally are basically freshwater fishes. You find them in the freshwater. But they take some time to get mature. They are migratory fishes. What they normally do is they are basically based in the Brahmaputra and in the Ganga Delta. They grow up there, this whole stretch. And then as they grow up over time, when they reach their maturity, they come along this river and then they come to the small fresh streams along the Himalayan foothills. That is stretching from Nepal right up till Manipur area. They go to these small areas and they go running during the monsoon, they come to lay down the eggs. Ewes or ones come. They lay the eggs and then they return back. They don't stay permanently, they are not permanent. What actually happened, the inflow of mussels that became less in Sikkim was basically the Faraka Dam. Once this dam got built, then this fish could not easily migrate up. Because the fish ladder, I don't know how it is made there, they're supposed to come through this. And now that with so many dams coming, I think another 5-10 years we'll have nothing.
विषयमा पोलिटिकल रूपमा केही छैन, यो चाहिँ एउटा अर्को रिवाज भएको एउटा बुद्धिज्मको एउटा यो सिक्किमको यो देवी देउराली नाला, त्यहाँदेखि कञ्चनजङ्घा, त्यहाँदेखि यो गुम्बा जति सब बचाउनको लागि चाहिँ यही नै रहेछ एउटा म पनि तिनीहरूसँग एउटा प्रोजेक्ट चाहिँ चाहिँदैन भनेर चाहिँ त्यहाँबाट म बुझेँ। एकदम राम्रो रहेछ, यो चाहिँ नराम्रो काम गरिरहेछ, यो बचाइराख्यो भने हाम्रो फ्युचर चाहिँ एकदम राम्रो बनिएर जानेछ। यही बुझेर चाहिँ मैले तिनीहरूसँग जान्ने बस्नेहरू तिम्रो सानो सोचले हँसाउनेछ यसलाई यो बुझ्न खोज, तिम्रो सानो सोचले हँसाउनेछ यसलाई यो बुझ्न खोज, यसै कारण सबै सावधानलाई यसै कारण सबै सावधानलाई बचाउने थुप्रै बाटो खोजौँ, थुप्रै बाटो खोजौँ, प्रकृतिलाई बचाउने थुप्रै बाटो खोजौँ, थुप्रै बाटो खोजौँ, थुप्रै बाटो खोजौँ।
I'm sorry, I think the images were coming in patches, but you could get, and this is on demand. This film is uploaded in on demand, so if anybody wants to catch this online, they can. Yeah, and this was the film was in 2015-16. It was shot, and the struggle still continues. So with me, I have Furchiring, Rumit, and Mayalmit, who are there at the forefront, still fighting. And the reason why they have been invited is because out of the 6 projects, 4 were scrapped in Dzongu, but the 2 major projects, which is the Panam project and NH stage 4, these projects have been granted, given a go-ahead to happen again after the struggle for such a long time. So I will call upon, let's begin with Furchiring, and then after that, Mayalmit will give a presentation, and Rumit will help. I hope it's fine that, Jim, is that okay? Yeah, all right. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, good morning once again, and good evening, people who are in United States, and for us it's the morning here. So I'll be talking about the struggle which we are doing right now. It's a Save Teesta campaign, and as well as how the struggle was started by my brothers and sisters, which you have just witnessed in this short documentary movie. So I'll be talking about the why this is saving this river, mighty river, like how our heart of a river is very important for this Lepcha community. So for that, I'll go a brief about the Lepchas and why this is very sacred about this preserving this reserve area. So I'll be focusing on we Lepcha, we call themselves as a Rangkup, Rumkup, or we are the original inhabitants of Sikkim. So we are mostly reside in this place called reserve area called Dzongu, which means 9th district in Bhutia language, and we call themselves as a Mayalyang, Mayalyang. That is hidden paradise in a Lepcha terminology. So this areas is like, it covers like 15,845 hectares. This is just a small piece of land which triangular in Sikkim. If you see the Sikkim's map, center part of Sikkim's, you can see in map that part area belongs to this Lepcha community, that's reserve area. And if you go back to the history, this area was granted to us by our 11th king Sir Tashi Namgyal, who used to be the 10th king of our Sikkim. So when we became a part of India, so the same old laws was again incorporated into the Article 371F and as well as the Indian Constitution. So this is all a bit like a historical background, how we have preserved it. Because King felt that we are very, like we can be very easily manipulate or will be easily we can be exposed to the outside world. So in order to preserve this, our culture and our land, so King granted us with this special status and special reserve area. He also, if I have to mention, he also passed notification or proclamation on 10th August 1956, declaring this as a small Lepcha reserve area, as a protected area. So he wanted to actually protect our land as well as our community, as well as our religion, and as well as our culture, everything. So basically, if you see recently, like you have watched a documentary, it shows that we Lepchas believe in nature. So we follow the religion called monism. So, but later we, with the acculturations, we also adapted to Buddhism culture. So, but at this, if you say in a way, we follow the both the religion. But we as a Lepchas, mostly we depend on the natures and we believe in natures, and river and natures and environment play a vital role for the Lepchas. So two important, like two major dams the government has proposed in my reserve area. So they wanted to come on with the Panam project, that is 280 megawatt, and stage 4, which is very burning issue right now in Sikkim. That's it comes at 520 megawatt. So what happens, like mm, so instead of protecting this land, now government wants to destroy it. It's like they wanted to build this dam, like they wanted to generate electricity. Instead of, we have already given, we have to say, like we have already given 2 mega project in Sikkim. That's both in Dzongu. Like if you see stage 5 megawatt, that's 510 megawatts, which is in the Dzongu. If you see the stage 3, that is 12 mega, which is the largest dammed in the Sikkim, that's to 1200 megawatt, which we have already contributed in a nation building or a development in terms of development. But still government wants to come up with the 2 more project in the same land, the same Lepcha reserve land, which has been like a passed on to from the generation and generation by our ancestor, which has been preserved, which this land gives us like a culture, tradition, food, everything. So our life revolves around this land. But now government wants to come up with a 2 mega project. And if I have to say this too, why we are protesting, why we're against this 2 dam is they are very close to our heart. And not only that close to our heart, it's our identity. So if I have to talk about the first thing, if I have to talk about the Panang project, that's 280 megawatts. So recently, just now you have watched documentaries stating that the Mount Kanchendzonga is our guardian deity. So we also have this like in a sense, like in India, generally people believe that Ganga as a deity and sacred river. So for our lectures also, we also believe Rongyong as a sacred and deities. We believe, and we lecture still believe, is that when we die and our soul has to travel to this Rongyong river to reach its we don't have health and heaven, but our soul has to travel to this Rongyong river to reach our ancestral land. So it shows it's very, very, very important for the Lepchas. That's one aspect of this, like a Rongyong river. And if I have to come down to the river Teesta, which have just gone through this documentary, so it also it plays a very important role, Teesta also, because whenever we get married or whenever during the marriage ceremony, we people use this Teesta water for the sprinkle as a holy water. So this both the river plays very important in our lives of Lepchas. But if you see now, if you see like I've already mentioned, there's a 2 dam. That is stage 5 and stage 3. That's lies the border of a Lepcha area. Now they want to come 2 more in the heart of a Dzongu. So it clearly shows that they want to totally wipe out the Lepcha areas, and totally they wanted to, in other sense, genocide the Lepcha culture, tradition, and identity. So it shows how government is bringing development. At the same time, they wanted to wipe out all the Lepcha community as all the generation. So now, in order to fight against this issue, we are running a Save Teesta campaign. It's just a youth body from the ACT, where going with this Save Teesta campaign to just to first, what we are doing is we are making people aware all around the world, India as well as in Sikkim. So what we are doing, we are not on the street right now, but we are making people aware why it is important, why river is important for the whole community, not only for the Lepchas. If you see in the documentary recently, what my sister Nimkit showed is all the people are dependent on this river Teesta in terms of religion, in terms of everything, like a livelihood, everything is dependent on the river Teesta. So we as a Save Teesta campaign is doing, we are making people aware that this river Teesta does not belongs to Lepcha community only. It belongs to all the people around the world. It's from the right from the Himalayas to down to till the Bangladesh. It plays a very important role. So this is how we Save Teesta campaign is going on, and we are awareing people on the ground. So whenever we are on the street, so that we get a lot of support from the people. So this is a brief I gave about this Teesta, and
Yeah. Thank you for, is there, I mean, I'm sure like from the youth perspective, you have few points to say, because this is the second leg of, you know, a revolution that's coming from the youth perspective. Do you have anything to say?
you're talking to me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So now we are as this, we as a second generation, like my brother, sister, father, mother, they have already started this movement a long time back in 2007 they started. So now what we're doing is a young generations are taking up this issue. Before that, there was all the old people and this my brothers, they have done what they have to do. Now we as a generation, now like from those who are like studied outside there, we are now coming together to protect our land. Not only our land, it's our identity. So now within this, in order to generate awareness among the youths, we are like we are giving talks, and we are visiting, we are sharing our stories to all the generation in Dzongu itself, and not only Dzongu, in outside Dzongu, in Gangtok, in different colleges and different universities. So we wanted to make people aware that importance of land, importance of river, how we are dependent on it. So as a youth, this movement is now totally shift onto the youth. So we have this like a forefather, like our brothers and sisters, those who are like they were part of this like a 2007 campaign. So they are backing us as an advisor. They're giving us all the inputs. But this movement is now totally like taken over by the younger generation. So now if you see like a Save Teesta campaign, there's a lot of only the most of the people who are engaging in these campaigns are all the youths. So I would say that like what my like brother and sister did was a very fruitful, and they have not only that give us this legacy, but they have empowered us to protect our land and to move on with this legacy. So now, as a present status, all the Lepcha generation, Lepcha youth are very much aware of these issues, what would the dam do, and what will the impact on their culture and tradition. And now we are moving on this campaign, and this campaign is totally now it's on the hands of the youth. It's okay.
Thank you for I don't know, Mayalmit, if you can hear it, but her connection is not so great. I think we're crossing the time. So Mayalmit, can you hear us? Mayalmit? Okay, I think she cannot hear. She cannot, because she was having a problem. Okay, but anyway, I just wanted to talk about this women's perspective, which Mayalmit has been working very closely. Um, so she is basically the president of Women's Association, the Lepcha Women's Association, and she has been fighting towards the land rights, where most of the land has been taken away from the Lepcha people. And she is also working towards making women self-empowered, because economy being a very important part, she has been trying to work towards making women economically independent, so that they can have a voice. And alongside, she has been also trying to fight towards like a lot of folklores are based in Sikkim. There are a lot of Lepcha folklores, and there is one very famous folklore which is based on the tower, like almost like the Tower of Babel. and so the government had constructed but not finished it. So she is fighting towards to make sure that is done successfully. So yeah, that's the thing with Myelmid, but I'm sure she would have been a better person to really talk about this. But unfortunately, she's not here. But I'm sure I don't know. I'll just try to call her. But if there's anything that you would want to ask us, would be nice.
Oh, there's Mayamit looking like she's coming on. Yeah, the sound is not good.
So you can't. Your connection is bad, Myelmit, is it?
So I'm not able to get.
Yeah.
She can.
She's in a hospital, maybe.
Oh, yes.
That's a connection problem there.
Yeah.
Okay, Myelmit, if there's anything you want to say, you can just type it down, because I know you've woken up at 5 in the morning, and it's unfortunate if you don't get a platform. So if you want to type something, it would be really nice, because I feel like you can really talk from the women's perspective while the youth movement is happening. Yeah, I think in the meanwhile, we can just...
Well, I would love to respond, because I was crying watching this documentary. It touched me very deeply. And I feel, you know, I could see how beautifully interwoven with the life of the river are the people. And it makes me so sad, but I'm so grateful that you are doing this work. I know Mayomit's trying to get on. Jim, no? Okay.
It's not working. She's trying.
Yeah, it's not working. I think if she would type something in the just a short statement or something to. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I will just tell her. Rumit, could you just tell her in the meanwhile?
Sure. No.
Yeah, they all come from places where internet connection has not been very great. And Gatso was supposed to come, but his internet connection is also not good. But we have a great person for cheering who presented. Sorry,
Yes.
Maya, please go ahead.
Well, thank you to you. Did Four leave already? Did he leave? I don't see him.
Sorry?
Did
Four is here. Yeah,
He's
he's here, right here. For cheering, yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for the work you're doing. And I know I want to see a way to support you to get this message out to the world, because yes, I was crying for the river itself, for the connection of the people. And I know how sacred it is to you. And yet, you know, all over the world, there are indigenous groups who understand the sacredness of the rivers and the forests and the land in a way that so many other people have forgotten. And it's like it's even beyond your own myths and stories. It is the actual functioning of the river. You see what affects everything. It affects the fish and the land animals and the people's lifestyle. And I have learned recently that too many rivers dammed can actually change the rotation of the earth, the tilt of the earth's axis. It is, of course, affecting everyone, those dams, and it is such an importance to educate people. And so I thank you so much for the work you're doing, and we will look at what organizations we can get to support you and to get this message out wider. And thank you, Minkat, for making this film. I know you weren't a filmmaker before, but you've done something that really touches, and the message comes across. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Remember, I asked permission from the river.
Yes.
Before I made the film.
Yep.
Yes.
And I respect that. That's so important. You know, I'm back 6 years ago, I guess, when Standing Rock started, and nobody knew what it was, who it was, why they were complaining. And it's, again, the same issue here, as it is so many places. Outside of India, with all respect, nobody knows this is going on. So how do we, I'm taking off my spiritual hat and putting my activist hat back on. How do we get word out? With Standing Rock, we became the media. So how do we do that? I'm happy to hook it into groups that I'm part of, because the story needs to be told. Like Maya, I mean, I had tears coming down. You guys did an excellent job presenting it. Your hearts were right there. So thank you for that. And I definitely, yeah, I don't know. Somehow we'll figure out how to do this. As soon as we understand what time we're both on, then we'll figure out the rest of this. And we'll get the word out there. Because it is critical. All these rivers are one river, really. And we have to battle each one.
Our one water, the rivers, the ocean, it's all one.
They're all connected.
Yeah. I think we already have the campaign name, One Tribe, One Water.
Now where does that sounds familiar? Oh.
That's coined by you last time. So
I know.
Yes. Right.
You know, I wonder, of course, the climate change has the young folks totally engaged too. I wonder if there's a way to tap into those groups. I mean, I can post things there. I'm in most of those groups.
Or
but
the Earth Guardians.
It seems like as we try to get word out, you young people need to connect too around the globe, because this is part of climate change, a huge part. How long a water course is this? Is it like one of the longest in the world?
You mean to say the length of the river?
Yeah, because I saw when you were showing the map, it goes quite a distance.
Yes, yes. But that is because it's very interesting. The name of the river changes by the time it comes to different country. And it comes to different state, it becomes different. But technically, they say it's like 314 kilometers till the mountain communities, but it's longer than that. So probably we can write it down and share it with you.
Okay. Wow. So think about it and see what we all can do to help.
Yes, I will also mark Furchering and the mail so that they are in the loop, because they're a very important part of the youth side. And I'm sure this is the beginning. I mean, though this is the last presentation we are having today with you, Jim and Maya, you have been like a guardians to us, and welcoming so many speakers from my community and being with us, being patient and listening to us with an open heart. And with all the technical problems you're facing, we know how the water runs deep, but we know like we have been there, and I'm very glad from our side we have Rumit and Furchering, who are such a promising youth who can do wonders in future, and they need guidance. And I feel like even Mayalmit, from the women's perspective. So I feel like just it feels amazing to connect the dot. And yeah, we will be mailing you more, and I'm sure food will have many need guidance for the youth also, so we need your guidance there.
And perhaps we can organize some future presentations in other venues at a time when you don't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That means we'll get up at 5 in the morning. Oh well.
Yeah. So I mean, there was an earthquake here in Nepal, so you can imagine I don't get up early, so the earth had to shake for me to wake up early. So
boy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And you're right, just the beginning. Thank you all. And tell Maya we love her and we felt her energy even if we couldn't hear her.
Yes, I will be calling her. And I mean, I don't know, Furchering, you would want to say something, because towards the end, I would really want, I'm so happy that you're here. And if you could just say something before you end.
You're speaking to Ramit?
I'm speaking to Furchering.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't see him, but.
Okay, like on behalf of like affected citizens of Teesta and the youth of Lepcha youth from Dzongu and Sikkim as well as India, I'd like to thank like America and both of you for this webinar, and we'll be looking forward to like seek help or advice so that we can lead our movement in a bigger way and a larger way, so that world knows that river and a soil and a land is important for each and everyone. So will, as a lecture, I'll seek like suggestions, and I'll seek inputs so that we can move forward with this movement in a very dynamic way, so that we can reach people all around the world that river and water is important for each and everyone. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all. And I think Jim has to go in a few minutes.
Right.
Is there anything you would like to close